Hey y'all, it's Nim or Nimicree if you're feeling professional, and welcome to the YouTube video. Now today, we're going to be discussing tank changes, speculation, what's going to happen because the World First is over. So who's getting buffed? Who's getting nerfed? Who's being left alone and forgotten? And honestly, this is all speculation. So let me know if I'm right, let me know if I'm wrong, and we'll go from there. First off, we got to go with the Fallen King, as it were, the Guardian Druid. Guardian Druid, you're going to be left alone and forgotten. Sorry, Guardian Druid. That's what happens. You originally, last season, were part of the God Comp. You've already been nerfed. I don't think they're going to hit you again, as your participation has fallen off, but you're definitely getting hit. And that's a shame, because it's not necessarily Guardian Druid's fault. And Guardian Druid, for a long time, all you had, Thrash, Mangle, Enraged Rejuvenation, and you were a dodge-based chance tank, and you just had a big old, thing of fat and a health pool to protect you, and that was it. That was your tanking. And some people really liked that, some people didn't, but ultimately I think that the Guardian Druid is going to be left alone and forgotten this coming patch. Protection Warrior. Good chance of getting buffed. Okay, so right now, Yggdrasil is absolutely hurting Protection Warriors. A lot of physical damage reduction, Protection Warriors. Not a lot of magical reduction. Who has a lot of magical damage? Yggdrasil. Who's getting, battered about the face? Protection Warriors. Why do I think they're going to get buffed in addition to that is that because there's already a lot of utility that Warriors bring, but I think that the tanking role tends to be a little bit more forgiving when it comes to buffs. Meaning that Blizzard will, add a few percentage here or there or do cooldowns or things specifically to entice more people to play tanks. And because there is a community perception that if it's not meta, it's terrible. And Warriors right now, sadly, are not the meta. Now, where is my Brewmaster Monk? Here we go, Brewmaster Monk. I think Brewmaster Monk has a good chance of being buffed as well. Brewmaster Monks typically have the lowest participation rate of any class in the game by player numbers, last time I looked at that. So I think that they're going to do a slight buff there to hopefully increase participation. That being said, Brewmaster still has a very strong toolkit with Dampen Harm, where was that other one I had? It was Diffuse Magic, and of course Mystic Touch being a buff if you don't have a Windwalker or you don't have a Mistweaver. So again, I honestly, if you could do like a Brewmaster, a Vengeance Demon Hunter, you could have both buffs, and the tanks are always obviously going to keep attacking and be in melee range because that's what they do. Brewmaster, though, I think will be getting a slight buff just because of the fact that it has low participation rates, even though it does good damage, even though it has good toolkits, and when played by a skilled player, you can survive hits that would kill basically everyone else who didn't have a bubble. Speaking of bubbles, our good friend, the Prot Paladin. Now, I think the Prot Paladin is going to be left alone and forgotten. Prot Paladins are strong. They're in a good place right now. The problem with the Prot Paladin is, of course, their mitigation, right? And I'm not saying that it's not a lot. It's how does it work? Shield of the Righteous, bap, and you stand in the glowy circle. Well, not a lot of bosses let you stand in the glowy circle. You got to move around a lot. Now, the trick to being a good Protection Paladin at this is to, 1, communicate with your group, 2, to try to squeeze out time and consecration for that 20% damage reduction increase off the rip as much as you can. And that can be very useful, especially with Divine Protection or Shield of Vengeance or any other things that they can do. I haven't played a Prot in a few weeks, so I'm somewhat not thinking. I think I'm mixing up stuff from Ret and Holy and all that as well. But ultimately, if you can stand in your circle, the amount of times you can stand in your consecration and have Shield of the Righteous up, you're going to be better. Problem is you have to move a lot. Now, if you wanted to bring back that glyph that let consecration travel with you, that would solve the problem, but it would also trivialize that particular interaction, so I don't think they're going to do that. All right, now let's see. Where's my neck? Here we go. Vengeance Demon Hunter. Definitely getting nerfed. Sorry, Vengeance Demon Hunter. I believe you're definitely getting nerfed. I 100% believe you're getting nerfed. Because right now, you are suffering from Havoc's success. You do a lot of damage. You bring Chaos Brand, which is a tank debuff. So good. Oh my god, so good. Now, that being said, Havoc is going to have that as well, but as a tank, This means that you always have it on the boss because you're always attacking the boss, or you're always attacking the mobs that need to be attacked. And Chaos Brand means that enemies take more magical damage. You are, again, suffering from success, and I don't think it's entirely your fault. And finally, the Blood Death Knight. Now, I think the Blood Death Knight has a good chance at being left alone and forgotten. And here's the thing. So my buddy Strick plays Blood DKs, right? And he thinks they're in a good spot, and I'll agree with him because he has way more experience with Blood DK than I do. But he also knows that, you know, they're strong and their cooldowns, and AMZ is so good. It stacks with everything. Grips are so good. I mean, we do Farak. We try to have as many DKs spec into Abomination Limb as possible so they can grab all the ads. So the Searing Souls, so we can cleave them down, and it counts as interrupt. I think it's gonna be great. But the reason why I think they're gonna be left alone and forgotten is that you can't, without reworking the class entirely, you can't really do too much. You might be able to adjust the percentages here and there, but you really can't do much to it because they take damage, they death strike, they heal up. They take damage, Vampiric Blood, they survive. They take damage, Dancing Rune Weapon, and death strike. The idea is they're masochists. They take the damage and then they heal themselves up. So honestly, I think that Blood DKs are not going to be really touched. So here we have our final list, of course, being a good chance of getting buffed is Protection Warrior and Brewmaster Monk. Left Alone and Forgotten would be Guardian Druid, Protection Paladin, and Blood DK. And definitely getting nerfed is going to be the Vengeance Demon Hunter. So those are my speculative picks. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. And of course, when 10.2.5 comes out, let me know if I'm right. Because who knows? I could be right about some things. Odds are I'm probably not. This was a fun video to make, and I hope you guys enjoyed the wild speculation and thinking about what could happen and why. My name was Nim. I hope you enjoyed the video, and may the mount you're farming drop on the first kill. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.